So there are really two bits of news. One is we passed a Wes Craven milestone. Really good for him. Rest in peace. And we now have the director for Scream 7 so far. Again, these things can change. But for now, apparently the radio silence people are out. The makers of Ready or Not are gone. I know this guy from Freaky Friday, but I don't know the Death Note, Death Day, whatever that thing is. And from Freaky Friday, I'm a little nervous. So Christopher Landon has done some pretty good projects. They've been really well received. Again, the only one I know really well is Freaky Friday. That one I think was very mixed, and that gets us into the reception of Scream 6 and what they may and may not do for Scream 7. So we still don't know many things. Is Nev coming back? Is Sidney coming back? Are they going to bring Stu back? It seems they're setting that up with Scream 6, but Scream 6, while a big hit, and for the most part audiences loved it, there is a small minority, and I count myself among them, who were somewhat disappointed. We're not saying it's terrible, we're not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but comparatively, it is one of the weaker entries in the Scream series. So can Christopher really save everyone? I'm a little nervous for many reasons. One is he's a Blumhouse guy, and I usually like what Blumhouse does. I'm not a hater of the Blumhouse, but after the Halloween trilogy, if you've been subscribing for a while, I didn't really like it. I almost liked nothing about it. There were a few good things about it, but really, I'm a hater on that side of the table. However, Jason Blum overall does really good stuff. He's done things with M. Night Shyamalan, which people may not realize or remember. He is a good producer, and I'm glad he gives directors a lot of leeway, because I want to work in Hollywood, if I'm lucky enough to work for him. I'm glad he trusts his directors, and I don't even think Freaky Friday is that terrible either. But again, it's like Scream 6. It had a lot of good elements, but then it had a lot of bad elements. And what makes me even more nervous is they're not really changing the script. So apparently the same people who wrote the other Scream entries, they're back around this time too. So will Christopher be changing radically the script ideas, or will he go with the flow? Is this even going to work with the other two prior entries? Because good or bad, the radio silence people did Scream 5 and Scream 6, which gave it a lot of consistency. But now we're switching to a new director, his own style. He wants to be an auteur, so he's going to go in a radically new direction. It's not going to feel cohesive with the other two parts. I assume a lot of the cast is going to return. They've been pretty good. Performances I didn't have too much of a problem with. He also is coming from a different background, so he may have some Easter eggs we don't quite know about. And again, this guy, we may have some Blumhouse cameos and people from that side of the street. There is tentative reason for hope, but if I have to be giving a yes or no, I would say no, but it's a weak no. I don't think he's going to save Scream 7, but he is a good director. He seems rock solid as in terms of his talent. But again, given Freaky Friday, I'm just not totally convinced he's going to do something spectacular. That said, I think overall Scream 7 will still be, and if it's better than Scream 6, I think that's good, but it will turn out to be a very uneven, not terrible, but kind of just very wonky trilogy, which again is better than nothing, and I don't think it's going to be like the nightmare of the Halloween trilogy. However, I have to be honest, a lot of Scream fans, I'm sure, are very cheerful, but I'm kind of very much on the fence. I'm just going to be honest in my response. I'm not given the big reassurance that Scream 7 is going to be great. So I still want to hear more about Nev Campbell, about Sidney, about Stu, about what they set up with Scream 6. I want more clarity there, and then I'll be more enthusiastic. I'm eagerly looking forward to Scream 7. Whatever I want to say about Scream 6, they got it done really quick, and I think for the production time and the budget, they did an impressive job. I didn't even mind the direction some of the story went in, but I do feel overall it really needed more work. It needed more revisions, more editing. Again, for the most part, I liked what they were up to, but just some very key decisions and some very baffling moments, I think, really brought down the film. And that's a shame because there is a lot of good stuff. So I would recommend seeing it, but again, come in with fairly moderate expectations. And again, I wish Christopher the best of luck. I'm just going to be honest. This is kind of meh. It's like, oh, okay. That's good. Not terrible news, but I want to hear more before I'm going to say, yeah, Scream 7 is going to be the greatest thing of all time. That's me.